Hi, thank you so much for the likes and the views on my recent video about the cancelled textures, so I'm going to make a part 2. Alright, so if you haven't seen part 1, I really recommend watching it because it also included some nice textures, and if you already watched it, then this one is going to be as good as the previous one. And if you want another part of this series, I recommend liking and subscribing because when we hit 150 likes, I'll do another video of this series. And also, members get to see these videos first, so if you want to become a member, you will see this video first, of course. So without dragging the intro, let's actually start with the first texture that actually got cancelled. Alright, so now we are going with the block which got most concept textures of all blocks in the game, and it's actually mud. And there's a lot of them, but none of them actually made it into the game, but they were shown in many Mojang videos and even Minecraft Live. Alright, so first of all we got these ones, and as you can see we maybe got some kind of green pixels on the first one, and it looks a little weird. I just can't imagine having this on the mangrove swamps. And the second one, it's a little more, I don't know, maybe orange, and yeah, it shouldn't also be spawned naturally in mangrove swamps. But I actually see the inspiration because it is supposed to be kind of wet dirt blocks, so yeah, this actually suits the theme, I guess. Alright, so now we also got this mud block, and this one actually got added into Minecraft dungeons, but we never got to see this one into real Minecraft, and I think that it's because it got kind of stony texture, so when you're in the mangrove swamp, I don't think when you would see this, I don't think you would actually think about mud, you think about something much harder. And after they actually chose the right colors, we got so many different ways of the mud to look like. At the fifth one we can actually see some kind of stony mud or cobbled mud. As you can see, we got a little darker variants, we got different consistencies, we got a kind of bubbled one on the first one in the third row, we got kind of waves, we got dots, we got so many different variants, and I can't cover them all, but you can actually look at them and say what you think. Tell me your favorite one, I guess. Alright, so now let's talk about textures which were actually revealed 4 years after the item got added. I'm talking about Netherite. And some of you maybe remember, or some of you maybe didn't even know about that, but Mojang has uploaded a video about the bugs where they have actually showed the removed texture of Netherite. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It looks like a totally new ore. It looks like a mix between, yeah, original netherite and diamonds, and it looks honestly amazing. I love the colors, and I guess that they didn't want to get rid of the original diamond texture because it's so iconic and so good, but they actually did it in the very end. But as you can see, this looks pretty nice, and maybe it would be a little cheaper to make these, but this looks so lovely. And it also kinda looks like trims in some cases, which is also pretty nice. And also in snapshot 20W06A, which was the first 1.16 snapshot, we actually got these textures for netherite, which kinda was a little too similar to stone when enchanted, and that's why they changed it. And as you can see, it has a much more dark texture, and it was much more rough. And as you can see, the stick also has a different color. If you played or have some knowledge about old Minecraft, you probably know about roses, which were later changed to poppies, but they actually had spikes instead of just a stick. But what if I told you that in one snapshot, roses actually came back? Well, in snapshot 18W43A, they actually changed the texture of roses and added some spikes to them, which reminds us of the old roses. But 4 weeks later, we actually got the poppies that we actually know now. And also, as a reminder, they didn't change the name, they just changed the texture to look like roses, which was extremely weird. But let's go to another texture. Planks were also one of the textures that wanted to be changed in the texture update for 1.14, and they actually did, but there were some other concepts on what they look like, so I'm going to show you how they were supposed to look like. Okay, so there are actually two batches. The first one was only for 2 textures and was released in 2017, or it was actually teased on Twitter, and it was by 2 devs, which was Jeb and Japa. And as you can see, here are the textures for oak and also jungle, and they looked a little more like rough, but also they looked more smooth. They didn't have too many unique colors, but there were some darker kind of lines in the middle, which looked cool. Alright, so the next batch released in 18W43A, and it actually updated every plank, and it made them like extremely smooth, and it kinda lacked colors. It just looked too basic, and I don't know how to explain this, but I just didn't like this. The texture just felt more lifeless, and they didn't have too many nice colors, it didn't feel too vibrant, and later on they actually fixed it, which was 4 weeks later, and that's when most textures got actually fixed for the better. Alright, now that we are talking about the 5 basic planks, let's talk about some other planks that were changed during the process, and there are some of them. Alright, so first up we have the normal bamboo planks, and do you see what the problem is? You maybe don't know it, but the lines are in the wrong way. They're supposed to be horizontal, they're vertical, so that is the problem. And I actually like this because that made the plank look a little different, but I actually changed it to match other planks in the game. And this plank was also in the official snapshots for 4 weeks and was in 2022 when the 1.20 update was starting to release. Alright, so now are you able to guess which wood this is based on this picture? You maybe don't know that, you may guess acacia or something, but no, it's actually mangrove wood, which was shown at Minecraft Live 2021 I think. Yeah, I'm kinda right. But yeah, this was the color and it looked too similar to acacia, so we of course changed it to a more red texture, and this is probably the most drastic texture that we got. And also this texture wasn't in the game ever, it was just at Minecraft Live, so when we got the first snapshot we actually got the upgraded version. Alright, so the big dripleaf actually also had some changes, but they weren't too different from the main block, but they had some other color variations and it had some other development processes. Alright, so first of all we got the one that got made at Minecraft Live 2022, and this is how it looks like. As you can see, the leaf there, up there, it actually looks a little different, has some other colors, and it actually looks pretty nice. Alright, so now we got some pictures that were posted by developers on Twitter, but they actually never made it into the game. So this is the first one, and as you can see, one of the parts is actually missing, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but that's a little weird. And the last one posted by Lady Agnes has more, dark colors on the top, and it's the last one from the big dripleaf, and then we got the normal ones. Alright, so now let's move forward to another block. Alright, so axolotls are actually not blocks, but they are mobs, so this is one of the few mobs that actually have scrapped textures in this game, so axolotls have actually 3 models that weren't added into this game. Alright, so at first when axolotls were announced they actually looked like this, and this is the basic one, this is the pink one, and as you can see the colors are a little more, normal. It actually looks maybe more realistic, but I think even the realistic ones are much more pink than normal. So we also got another variant, which is kind of a retexture of the brown one. So here's the second axolotl that was shown at Minecraft Live 2020, and it's actually kind of a retexture of the brown one, but it's called the white axolotl. I don't know if the current ones have any names, but they maybe do. So that's maybe the same axolotl as the one that we have now, but yeah, I don't know. Alright, so I saved the best one for the last, and it's the green axolotl, and it's more like lime green or something, and it actually wasn't shown at Minecraft Live. It was shown on the Minecraft Live 2020 recap, but it was never on the show, so we don't know if this was ever intended to be added or if this was some dev build, but I guess that it's some kind of, cancelled version. Alright, so ores were one of the main discussions when making 1.18 and 1.17, because there was a huge texture change between them, but there was many things that happened also with iron, so now I'm going to go through the iron textures, but of course there's some other textures for some other ores. Alright, so in snapshot 21W078 they actually updated the iron texture into this, or I mean the iron ore, and as you can see it kinda looks like the gold nuggets from the Nether ore, so it's a little different. And also here's the Grimestone variant, and I don't actually know if it was in the game during that time. This was a pretty controversial change, and it was also a pretty fast era of making textures, so they actually updated the texture the week later. Alright, so after that they actually made it a little more veiny maybe, with some more iron, which was a little weird, but that is how it looked, and people did not like this, including me. Okay, so I just noticed that I said alright like so many times during this video, so I'm really sorry for that, and I will actually change it in my next video. But moving on, it actually took them 2 weeks to fix the texture to what we have now, and they didn't change it since that, so that's a good change, and they actually listened to the community in a good way. You probably know about barrels, you probably don't use them, but do you know the backstory behind them, and do you know maybe why fishers actually use them? Well, in a Minecraft beta in November 2019 they actually added this thing, which is a barrel full of fish, and they also added an empty barrel, but then 2 weeks later they actually added the barrels and the fish barrels were actually gone. What happened to the barrels? Will they be ever added again? I guess we'll never know. If you know Minecraft good enough, you probably know that there are 2 types of gold ores. There are Nether ones and there are the overworld ones, not counting deep state of course. But what if I told you that they tried to add the Nether ones into the normal ones? Well yes, in the same snapshot where they added the weird iron ores, they actually updated the gold ore, which looked like this, but the week later they actually changed it to what we have now. This texture was just not logical at all, because as you know, normal ores actually drop the ore or the raw ore, but the Nether ones actually drop only nuggets, so that'll be a little weird. And as the last texture for this video, I have a quite lame one, but it's the block of Amethyst, and as you can see it actually had a lot less of these glowing particles, so it looked a little lame, like it didn't have this nice effect that it actually should have gotten, but it actually got changed a while later. And by a while I actually mean 1 week, because it got changed literally the week after that, so that's actually crazy. And also that's everything for this video, so if you enjoyed this video please like and subscribe because it's really helpful, and thanks for the amazing support on the recent one. Thank you so much again, and I probably make a part 2 really soon, so see you soon and bye.